you want to find out what this 2025 budget looks like for the state of Michigan? Stay tuned and listen to our Lieutenant Governor, Garland Gilchrist, as he shares Michigan's vision for the future. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, how many years has it been now that you've been Lieutenant Governor?
This is the beginning of year 7, Paula,
Year 7.
and it's been amazing.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us here at AARP for always saying yes to us and always coming on the show to give us updates on what's happening, what's going on, and just what the future of Michigan looks like. You all have done an incredible job. I keep thinking about some of the, I'll let you talk about it, but some of the work you've done in terms of the pension tax and other things. But as we look at 2025, and the governor just proposed her budget for 2025, what in that budget will really make a difference for older adults?
So you did mention, Paula, that we're going to continue the implementation of the rollback completely of that retirement tax, which I think I shared with you before, my father's favorite policy. Like, he is ready to get his whole retirement. So that's really important. But this budget goes further in some really important ways. And one of them is very personal to me. So my grandma Doris, my father's mother, who was a middle school teacher in Detroit, she taught social studies, 8th grade. She actually is the first person who ever brought me to the Capitol when I was in elementary school. My grandma lived the last 10 years of her life with dementia. And she lived in a skilled nursing facility on the west side of Detroit. And, you know, dementia is difficult for the people who are experiencing it, the people who are caring for folks living with dementia, and those who love them.
Right.
And so that's why in this budget, one of the things that we've done is put another $2 million towards services specifically to support people living with dementia and their caregivers. And every time when we were sort of debating that policy and how to put in the recommendation, I was thinking about my grandma Doris. So that's something that's really important.
That's fantastic. I know that you and the governor talked about making Michigan a dementia-friendly state.
Yes.
So that people here have the kind of resources that they need in order to take care of their loved ones and to navigate through so many different issues that impact people with dementia and caregivers in general.
Yes.
And I know we've talked a lot about caregivers, and Michigan has something like 1.7 million unpaid family caregivers. And I'm put you on the spot a little bit, but you know, they're at SEIU, and God bless them, we love them, and they've got home health programs. They're now getting an increase. But the unpaid family caregivers, those who just take care of someone, $7,000 out of their pocket to build a ramp or to change a bathroom so they can go in and out of the bathroom appropriately. Any discussion about anything for unpaid family caregivers?
Well, Paula, you're describing my parents as they were caregivers for my auntie Barbara in Detroit. But, you know, last year in the budget, I was proud to stand with AARP as we proposed a up to $7,500 caregiver tax credit that was trying to really recognize the value, the hard work, the emotional labor, and the out-of-pocket expenses that so many caregivers take. That's a policy that I continue to support, and we want to find a path for it. Now, we're in a new legislative session. We have a new legislature that, you know, honestly, we're gonna have a conversation, but I would expect the House Republicans to be rather hostile to that policy. But I think it's a good thing to consider. And so we'll still consider to keep that fight. I'll continue to carry the flag and carry the torch for it.
I appreciate that. And we've got 1.25 million members who want to see that happen. And I can call them if you need me to.
You know, you might need to get on the phone with them. It's true.
Call, yeah, we can call. We can blast over that, phones over to the Capitol to do what we need to do. But we'll continue to fight for that. What else is in this budget?
So there are also, we are sort of lowering the income threshold for eligibility for Medicaid in this budget. And why that's important is, so again, I'll go back to my grandma Doris. So for her years in her skilled nursing facility, that was primarily funded by Medicaid. And so by opening Medicaid eligibility up to more people and to more seniors who may need, you know, specialized care in that regard, we're going to help more people be able to age more healthily. And so that's really important to us. And we're really proud of our age-friendly state designation. Yes. And I think this is sort of part of that. Another thing is we're opening up to 54 new slots in PACE. Oh, nice. And you know, I was really proud to attend the ceremony about the expansion of the PACE facility in Westland, Michigan, and for PACE Southeast, it has does such great work and great services. And I've visited, I think, 9 PACE facilities across the state of Michigan at this point, in Traverse City and in the Detroit area, et cetera. And so this is about, again, supporting this amazing service provider that provides just experiences for our seniors, whether it is getting the health services they need, getting the camaraderie that they need as far as being able to be with friends or neighbors, and all types of classes on everything from art and culture and things like that. So it's just a really comprehensively positive experience. So the state's proud to support that as well in this budget.
That's fantastic. And PACE we've collaborated with them on so many things before, but you want people to age with dignity and to have choices, right?
Yes.
Some people may have to go to an institution, and we want those licensed and certified and inspected. They may have to go to, some people stay at home. PACE is another alternative. So we want people to have choices as they age.
Well, the last thing you mentioned about the inspectors. And so in this budget, we also are providing more professionals that can make sure that, again, that our nursing home facilities or skilled nursing facilities, all the facilities that provide care and services for our elders, that we have people keeping an eye on them to make sure that they are providing service the way they need to provide it, that they're structured the way they need to be structured. And that's ultimately about making sure that people can be healthy and successful as they interact with them. And it's also, frankly, about safety. Safety for those who are getting services there, safety for the staff members and service providers themselves. Like it's all better when we have, more and better supported professionals doing that inspection work.
We learned a lot during COVID.
Yes.
And again, I want to commend you for the task force that you instituted during COVID that was just real time, just in time, sending mobile units to neighborhoods to make certain that people could get their vaccinations without having to go out. And just looking at the entire state, I was just pleased to be a part of it. It was such a phenomenal experience how the entire state came together. And one of the things that I really learned from that is how when we come together, there's nothing that we can't do as a state, as a people.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely nothing that we can't tackle.
Well, Paula, I thank you for working so hard and representing AARP so well on that Racial Disparities Task Force. And you're absolutely right. My lesson was that if you pay attention to a problem, you can make progress on it. And if you decide to make progress, you can make progress. And so we didn't accept that our Black residents had to die at a rate of 5 times our white residents in Michigan. We didn't accept that that was true, and to an even greater degree for our seniors who were people of color. And so we got to work, and there were so many creative minds from all sort of walks of life and profession. We had educators, we had labor leaders, we had faith leaders, we had young people, we had seniors, we had community organizers, we had business people, and everybody contributed something that led to our success.
And your engineering background?
Absolutely.
Helped a lot.
Well,
that helped a lot. You putting these pieces together and making things happen. And
engineering is problem solving and making systems work. And so as an engineer and in public service, my job is to make this system of government work better for people. And I think that was an illustration of that.
Work better.
Yeah.
When we go across the state, we hear people saying, how can we get Congress, Michigan to work better together? Civility is almost a lost art anymore. Talk about that and what this administration is doing to make certain that we as a state might not be able to impact everything in Congress, but as a state, how can we work better together?
Well, Governor Whitmer and I, when we came into office in 2019, her and I served with Republican majorities in both the state Senate and the state House. So we have been working in a bipartisan manner from the beginning. And it's a matter of respect to recognize that it's kind of like, like the YMCA, okay? So everybody in Lansing, everybody in the legislature, they won. We're all winners,
right,
okay?
Right.
So now that we got the winning out of the way.
I don't like that concept, but
we can have
first, second, third, right, okay.
But everybody won.
Yes, right.
And so I think if everybody won, then we don't need to focus on the politics. We can focus on the policy. We can focus on the people. We should be able to get things done. And so the way Governor Whitmer and I have approached it is that we are going to sit at the table of decision-making and progress. And we welcome anyone who's willing to sit at that table, be they a Democrat or a Republican. But we've been able to make important progress. We've been able to have record funding for public education every year we've been in office because we've been willing to sit at that table with anyone who wants to sit across from us. We've been able to make progress on growing our economy. We've been able to make progress on expanding access to healthcare. We make progress on so many things because we are willing to sit across from whomever is ready to get things done. And so for us, and for me personally, it's about focusing on the people of Michigan, about focusing on the people when I go to homes in all 83 counties in Michigan, I've been to all 83 counties 3 times, Paula, and when I'm talking to people about their challenges with housing, their challenges with healthcare, particularly mental health services, they don't ask me if I'm a Democrat, they ask me if I can help them. And as long as we're focused on helping people, we're going to be able to get things done.
That's nice. I like that. So when you talk about the 83 counties and you listen to people, what's the number one concern that they have? I know working together, something we hear. What do you hear from them?
I hear about housing so consistently, that housing is affordable, that housing is, different people at different points in their life have different housing needs, right? Different people at different stations in life have different housing preferences. You may want an apartment, you may want a single family home or a duplex, you may want to live, in a community. And so we want to make sure that we have housing that is diverse enough in Michigan to meet people's needs. For people who are working and may need to, if they're working in a place that has a seasonal economy, need housing that can support people who work in a seasonal context. So I hear about a lot of housing issues, and we've really focused on, in the last 5 years, putting more than $200 million into Michigan's Community Development and Housing Trust Fund. Because the state of Michigan never invested in housing in that way. But our Michigan, State Housing Development Authority, MISHDA, we also have done these innovative programs where now, if you get a mortgage through MISHDA, you have an opportunity to get not just 1, but up to 2 percentage points knocked off of your mortgage rate.
Wow.
And at a time when interest
that's
rates are super high,
That's
it helps make housing more affordable and people be able to get into home ownership and get into the wealth building opportunities that creates. And so we're going to continue to make those investments in not only affordable housing, but also I want to grow our economy so more people can have better jobs and income so they can afford to get a house.
Right.
So if we do those things at the same time, it can deal with that issue that I hear about in every community, big and small, urban, suburban, rural. Housing is a challenge that we all must address.
And in the last, let's say 5 or 6 years, maybe it's been an issue all along, but housing has just really risen as one of the number one priorities for older adults and for other people. As young people, older, it's just multi-generational.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's as a result of coming out of COVID or post-pandemic or whatever, that the interest rates and everything else, but it's absolutely almost unaffordable right now.
Yeah, I think it's something that has been building. I think we did have an issue of supply. I think fewer homes were built after the financial crisis in 2008, and there's some catch up that we had to play there. But we also have a challenge that I think impacts so we have a lot of our elders, for example, who may be living in a home that they've lived in for a long time. Maybe it's the home that you raised your family in and built your family in, but it's a lot of house.
Right.
When you're by yourself, or it's just you
Right.
and your spouse. But because folks might have been have these really low interest rates, it might not be advantageous for them to sell their home maybe to a younger family so that they can build the same kind of memories you did, and you can move into a home that's maybe a little more manageable for your size. And so that's because that's one of the things we have to unthaw in our housing market. And that's why we're trying to be creative about these solutions again around interest rates to sort of make them make sense for people so they can
We're going to have fun together because housing's right up there with assisted dwelling units, looking at not just housing and building housing, but universal housing. So if you're young or old, you can age in place in that house.
Yes.
Having wider doorways. So working with, as a matter of fact, Senator Anthony and I were looking at having a meeting with some construction and developers to talk about universal housing. So that whether you're a parent with 4 children and they need to be able to get in and out of a tub easily, or whether you're an older adult be able, and it's attractive to everyone. So,
and the state in the past, in the last several years, we've supported resources that would help people making those kinds of home improvements, have state support in doing so that we could again make it make people more able to age in place, and we're going to continue to support that kind of program.
Fantastic. Now, when you age in place, you got to have access to technology. And I know that's been something that you should be we're very proud of the work you've done in there. But talk to us about what's happening now with, I think it was 2 years ago that established the office.
The Michigan High-Speed Internet
Yes,
Office. Yes.
yeah.
So MyHigh is what we call it.
Well,
that office is continuing to make significant progress. Michigan has drawn down from the Biden-Harris administration, the previous administration, We won $1.4 billion with a B to expand internet access to every household in the state of Michigan. I'm really proud that we've gone through all the processes and the plans that have been submitted to the federal government, and the approvals are all in the works now. We have a bid out for contractors to be able to lay these fiber lines and all this, such that we will have shovels in the ground in 2026 to expand internet access to every household and business in Michigan. We're going to be the first large state to connect all of our people online. And as your members know, being connected online is an amazing way to stay connected to your family, to stay current on what's happening in your community and in the world, to get better access to your healthcare provider and healthcare services, to also just frankly, the internet can be fun.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. You can stay current.
There. That's right. And
TikTok, Facebook.
So, you know, people, you know, the internet can make people healthier.
Right.
And we also, though, are very mindful of making sure that people are not being taken advantage of online. And so I still continue to be proud to stand with the Attorney General and her work on elder abuse. I've been on her elder abuse task force since 2019. A lot of progress we've made there, and that's something I care deeply about. Is I had a grandparent who was taken advantage of by telemarketers in just vicious ways, to where when she moved out of her home, she had a house full of magazine subscriptions that people had just been calling her and abusing her like that. So I care really deeply about that. But internet access is something that we want to be a universal experience in Michigan. I've been working with internet service providers to provide affordable programs and pathways, and they've stepped up. And so we're really proud of the progress, and Michigan is going to be a leader in this.
So does that mean that people will not have to pay for internet service because the state will have everything covered?
It doesn't mean that they won't have to pay for it, but it means that it will be more affordable.
Okay.
So, you know, we're not talking...
And accessible.
Yes, we're not talking $100 plans.
You're right. Okay.
No, we certainly, I mean, I do think that working to get that price lower and lower, because the truth is I don't want money to be a reason why people can't get online.
Right.
And so we have to find a way to make that work. And I've cared about that since I was in college researching internet access. And so we can do it, and Michigan can be a leader.
Absolutely. And that's, lessons learned. Who was it who said never let a good crisis go to waste? Lessons learned from COVID, too, was the telehealth and telemedicine, and how many older adults were not able to access telehealth, and they didn't want to go to the doctor because the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so, we've been working at AARP to make certain that people are more comfortable with technology, they know how to use it, and that they don't become a victim of fraud or fraudulent activity. And that's kind of a tough...
Well, just so many things. There's a learning curve. Telehealth, you have to have a device that's good enough, that's fast enough, and that your camera works. And there's certainly a curve there. And we did learn a lot of lessons that we have taken to heart and internalized, and I think the service providers have as well. And so our medical professionals, though, have really opened up, and we need to make sure that our insurance regime and our regulations catch up to that and fully recognize telemedicine as actual medicine.
Fantastic.
Yes. And I think that we're making important progress, and we're going to continue to, again, because we don't want, just like I don't want money to be a barrier to getting internet access, I don't want not having internet access to stand between a person and better health outcomes. And especially in a state like Michigan, we're such a big state. We're the biggest state east of the Mississippi River, like physically. And especially if you're living with particular kinds of, chronic conditions that you may need to see specialists, that if you're living in parts of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you may have to drive 6 hours to see a specialist. Telemedicine can say that rather than having to go make that 6-hour drive 10 times a year, you can make it twice.
Right.
And so it just
it's about options.
To give you those options. That's right. And so we are definitely, I want to continue to be in conversation, with your members and with people all across Michigan for understanding what do they need? Like what are the scenarios?
We know where to find you. We can
talk.
to
I figured that. Like you call them.
Right.
So
we've got about 2 minutes left. I've got some rapid fire questions for you, okay?
Okay, I can handle it.
Things that people want to know.
People want to know.
Okay, Detroit style pizza or Coney dog? What's your favorite?
Detroit style pizza, and you need to get it from Michigan and Trumbull.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
I'm adaptable.
Yeah.
Honestly, even starting in college, like it depended on who I was working with, but I'm probably slightly more of a night owl, but ever so slightly. But I can wake up pretty early.
Okay. Your go-to karaoke song?
I'm not a karaoke guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I'll tell you what, the last time I was forced into karaoke, though, they had me sing Barry White.
Oh, oh, I was good with, never mind. Yeah, all right. Who's your dream dinner guest?
Oh, that's a good one. Can I give you two?
Okay.
I want to have dinner with me and my wife and Michelle Obama and Serena Williams.
You're so smart. When you have two women, you got to have your wife there.
But for real, like, no, let's like, Michelle Obama, I mean, we learned a ton about her and reading
Yes.
her
Yeah.
first book,
Yeah.
but just to really get just like for real how she thinks about stuff is fascinating. And then Serena Williams, the greatest athlete of all time, and just the things that she's experienced.
So, last question.
Yeah,
What's your next position in the state of Michigan?
I appreciate that. So I am looking forward to the opportunity to continue to serve the whole state of Michigan, and I'll make some news about it real soon.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Paula.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for all that you
AARP.
do. All right. Thank you. Vitamins, more vitamins than supplements. Dr. June, what should we do?
This has been a hot topic since first time I stepped foot in a hospital, is that everybody wants a supplement or vitamin or pill to make them live a better life and feel better. Now, there's certainly a place for vitamins and minerals and supplements, but the problem is it's often overly promotes benefits with very actual little benefit, and you end up spending a whole lot of money taking 16 bottles of who knows what, not knowing if it's affecting your kidneys or your liver, or if it's doing you any good other than hitting your pocketbook. Now, I personally have no problem with multivitamins, or if you're lacking in certain nutrients, like magnesium, for example, or vitamin D, and there's a place for that. But I just recommend against people having like 15 to 35 different supplements that they take that they get from special catalogs, because they're just not getting the benefit that they're really looking for. That's not to say that like fish oil isn't good or other types of medical supplements aren't a good idea. It's just only take what you need to put in your body and don't do it to excess.
How do you know what you need to put in your body?
Well, I hate saying this every time, but talk to your primary care. Get good counsel from online communities and stuff that aren't trying to sell you something.
Right.
People that want to give you information without selling you something is probably the best way to get advice about what you're going to take into your body.
A lot of times people get together and say, oh, you're taking fish oil, oh, you're taking this, or magnesium, or you're taking vitamin D. Everyone doesn't need the same thing.
No.
So,
And they should run those things to see if you do need them, although I'm an advocate that anyone can take fish oil and it'd be fine. Right, but like I said, people come in with these huge boxes of this stuff wondering why they feel like not well.
And it's because they're taking too many vitamins and supplements. Thank you,
That's right.
Dr. June. Appreciate you being here.
CATA's regional mobility solutions can help seniors seize the day. Hear what our riders and community leaders have to say about the value CATA brings to the lives of aging adults.
I think CATA is necessary for the community because, there's a lot of people that don't have transportation. Plus, it's good for the environment. I think CATA's doing a good job.
Oh, it's very important for somebody like me. I don't have a vehicle at the moment, and the transportation is a reliable source as far as helping me get to and from places where I need to go. It's very important.
Almost 70 years old, it's hard to walk, so I like taking the bus because walking is bad for me.
I've been riding it ever since I've been here, since 1994.
Being here at the CATA, being able to use the buses, get you somewhere everywhere. They actually was nice enough to give me a bus pass that day, a 31-day bus pass, so I was blessed.
I'm with a polite time with the drivers and whatnot, and they're very helpful. And the girls out in the booth, if you have somewhere to go or you don't know where you're going, look it up for you and give you directions and where to get off at, which I think is really nice.
If we didn't have CATA, so we'd be using Uber or Lyft from place to place, which can be quite costly.
I depend on CATA. I have to. If we didn't have CATA, I don't know what we would do. This town needs CATA.
Yeah, it would be very, very frustrating without CATA because, if we didn't have CATA, the people that needs CATA, they would be in really bad shape because how can we get around without CATA?
It's very important that I ride with them. Because of CATA, I can do that. I'm independent.
You may not have heard about MPART Alliance, Michigan State University MPART Alliance, but you want to learn what they're doing. And to talk about that, we have Claire Lutz. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Paula, for this opportunity. MPART Alliance, our main mission is to help Michigan build an infrastructure to support the direct care workforce and address the severe shortage of direct care workers that we have.
I love it.
And we do this in a number of ways. We work closely with partners, hundreds of partners across the entire state, partners within state government and allies across the state. We have several buckets of strategies that we use. One of them is around, of course, advocating for higher wages and benefits. One is around professionalizing this workforce. And we've made some real progress here. And one thing we've done is help to establish 14 state-wide competencies for direct care workers, standardized direct care worker competencies. Create credentials for direct care workers that are not certified nursing assistants. We have developed 14 policy recommendations for legislators that we would like to tell them about and work with them on. And a number of other things, career success models and so forth. And I would like to say that all of these things are connected. They have to be addressed simultaneously. We can't have a Band-Aid approach with a little training here, a little higher wages there. We need statewide leadership and a coordinated statewide plan that's very strategic. And I'm happy to say that I think we have that now, and we're doing some exciting stuff in Michigan, and really we're garnering national attention. So we should be proud of what we're doing here in Michigan.
Thank you so much, MSU MPART Alliance, for all that you're doing. Thanks for being with us. Elder law, long-term care. David, tell us, in your 33 years of experience, what we need to know about long-term care and or elder law.
Yeah, so Paula, the key is elder law is not just about when you get old. It's focused on what happens as we age. And the sad reality of it, the joyous reality of it, the simple reality of it is most of us will need long-term care. Federal government says 70% will need 3 years, 20% will need 5 years. Okay, so it's a real thing. Everybody wants to avoid probate, save taxes, get it to the kids. Well, that doesn't happen if you've gone broke doing long-term care. And that's exactly what elder law is focused on. How do we make sure that you get back some, not all, but some of what you paid in? And elder law is designed to structure your legal life in such a way that you don't go broke in real life, okay?
So at what age should you start thinking about long-term care and or elder law?
I would say when you're a teenager, but that's my opinion. For most people,
I would agree with you.
For most people, 60 is seems to be the right age. We have people in their 50s. And
so I have a little time.
Yeah, you have a little, that's right. Well, but you know, I've got folks in their 80s who they're like, oh, I don't want to rush this. I'm like, what? You're not rushing anything, you know.
So the number one thing people need to do is contact an elder law attorney and ask the right questions. Thank you, David, for being with us. We appreciate all that you're doing. And again, visit the website if they want more information, correct?
Right. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you for watching AARP Real Possibilities. Remember that the power for change and for making things happen rests with you. Thanks for watching Real Possibilities.